What if I told you the toughest engine Chevy ever built wasn't a V8? It didn't make headlines. It didn't win races, but it outlasted everything. It was so overbuilt, so reliable. GM quietly buried it. This is the 292nd Inline-Six, a torque monster they never marketed, a sleeper engine that could embarrass small blocks and survive a lifetime of abuse. And the crazy part? They never wanted you to notice. Today, we dig it back up. This is the forgotten story of the 292 Inline-Six, an engine so tough it was quietly used everywhere from delivery trucks to drag cars and even airplanes. In 1962, Chevrolet is dominating the American market with its small block V8s. The 283rd, the 327th, the mighty 409th. But behind the scenes, a different kind of engine is taking shape. Not every buyer needs a performance car. Some need torque, longevity, dependability. So GM engineers set out to build a new generation of straight-six engines to replace the aging stovebolts of the 30s. At the top of this new lineup sat something unexpected. A 292 cubic inch inline-six, not flashy, not loud, but quietly, maybe the most overbuilt power plant GM ever created. It wasn't built for racetracks. It was built for the long haul. And Chevy? They built it like they were preparing for war. Let's talk hardware. The 292 looked like its little brothers, the 230 and 250, but under the skin, it was a different beast. A taller deck height, 1.25 inches over the 250, a forged steel crankshaft instead of cast, 7 main bearings for rock-solid bottom end support, massive connecting rods, heavier block webbing for added strength, and a long-stroke design, 4.125 inches, for diesel-like torque. The result? Smooth, reliable power. Up to 285 pound-feet of torque at just 1,600 RPM. Mechanics joked that the 292 would run without oil, and in some cases, it actually did. This wasn't just strong, it was unkillable. You found the 292nd where work mattered more than horsepower. In Chevy C10 and C20, in step vans, bread trucks, and school buses, in military rigs and fleet trucks, in South America, powering everything from utility trucks to family SUVs. In Brazil, it lived on in the Chevrolet Veraneo until the late 1980s. Fleet managers loved it, farmers swore by it, and shade tree mechanics passed it down like a family recipe. But back in the US, GM gave it the cold shoulder. Because here's the dangerous truth. The 292 made some V8s look pointless. Think about it. Cheaper to build than a V8, easier to work on, more fuel efficient, longer lasting, and with some minor tuning, it could make small block levels of torque. Hot rodders took notice. In the late 60s and 70s, bold racers started putting 292s in drag cars and dirt track machines. With high compression pistons, lump port heads, and aggressive cams, these 6 cylinders could scream. Some naturally aspirated builds made 400 plus horsepower. Add a turbo or blower, you were deep into V8 territory, but GM, they kept it quiet, because every 292 sold was a 327 they didn't, and every hot-rodded 6 threatened the V8 empire GM had built. By the late 70s, emissions laws were tightening. GM's engine lineup was bloated, fuel injection was coming, and Chevy began trimming the fat. The 292 stayed, but only in heavy-duty fleet applications. No updates, no marketing, no performance packages. It disappeared from light-duty pickups by 1984. Medium-duty trucks kept it a bit longer, but by the late 80s, it was gone. No fanfare, no legacy, no respect. Just quietly erased from the lineup, because it had served its purpose. Too well. But real car guys never forgot. Today, the 292nd has a cult following. Among drag racers, off-roaders, hot rodders, and engine nerds, it's become the ultimate underdog because the block is beefy, the crank is forged, and it handles boost like a champ. In places like Australia and New Zealand, where inline-six is ruled, the 292 is a god-tier swap, and across Mexico and South America, it's still being built, tuned, and raced. Decades later, you'll see turbo 292s in Novus and S10s running 10-second quarter miles. Why? Because even today, it's hard to kill. And in a world of computer-controlled engines, plastic intake manifolds, and throwaway power plants, the 292 is a slab of iron that just wants to run. The 292 wasn't efficient, it wasn't trendy. It was built in the old-school way, strong first, everything else second. It didn't win races, it didn't sell ad campaigns, but it earned respect the hard way, by surviving. Today, when automakers talk about reliability, they mean 100,000 miles. The 292nd It laughs at that. It was built to outlive the trucks it was installed in. And if GM had pushed it too hard, people might have started asking the wrong questions. Why do I need a V8? The 292 story isn't just about one engine. It's about how the best machines don't always get rewarded. Sometimes they get buried because they threaten the business model. And that's the heart of this story. An engine too reliable, too simple, too honest. And in a world built on planned obsolescence, that made it dangerous. So next time you see a rusty old farm truck in a field, check the fender. If it says 292, you're looking at a buried legend, a torque monster, a survivor, an engine that never got its moment until now. This was the Chevrolet 292 Inline-Six, and this was the engine too tough to advertise. If you like this deep dive, hit subscribe, and it'll catch you in the next one.